With the sad and devastating end to Multiverses coming soon, we have lost another video game. It seems that player first games really just did not put the player first. It sucks that this game is ending, and I had so many big ideas for this game. I really wanted this game to succeed. With the sad end of it on May 30th, I've decided to show the rest of the rest of all the characters that I've done before, that I've came up with, fully detailed and everything. So here's the long list of every other character. But before we begin, make sure to check out the other videos. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe. Make sure to check out the other videos just so you understand what's happening here, because there's going to be about 30 characters left out. So what you need to do is watch those first 5. Anyways, let's continue. And we start this off with No Face from Spirited Away. Now, I'm going to say would have, because of course, the game isn't being made anymore. He would have been an assassin, and I've also added, if made, I want credits. This was back then when the game was going fully on, ideas that Multiverses probably would not have put in the game, so I said, I want credit for these ones. But yeah, see No Face, and here's his height, and we're going to go over this large form mechanic in a bit. So in No Face, he can throw little sprites, do all this stuff. I really don't remember much of this because it's been so long since I've looked at this. Anyways, you can see his ability in the top right corner. If you want to read this, pause it now. His ability is, over time, he can do damage to get larger. And as you can see, right there, he gets larger. That's when he eats a bunch, gives everybody gold in the movie. Spirited Away is a genuinely really good movie. One of my favorite Studio Ghibli movies. You should really check it out. He has really no skins, but his first perk lets his gold touch, which is a new thing. You should read these. There's a bunch of information there because I don't remember much from these. Anyways, and his second perk is his second perk lets his inside mouth move last 4 seconds and deal gold damage. So again, check the list because of moves and attacks, I don't remember much. Anyways, we're going to move to Weiss Schnee, and I'm going to say this right now, there's a bunch of Ruby characters on this list. I am a glazer for Ruby. It's my favorite show. Anyways, Weiss Schnee is a mage character. Would have been a mage again. That's really not much to say about her. So, of course, there's her, and then there's the ice giant. I don't remember the name of it, though. Big, important character in the series, though. Anyways, she can summon this ice giant. She can make glyphs like in the show. She can throw people forward. She has a little team-up ability where her glyph actually can be located, and, she can push people in the air. So she would have been a pretty good character, keeping distance, while also getting, getting her teammate. And she could have switched her different dust. She could have switched the glyphs to different types of dust. It would have been amazing. You got her skins here. So her first perk is her Ice Giant charges 3.5% faster. By the way, these numbers are fully wrong. Probably. I don't know. And her Ice Giant does ice damage. Sorry, I don't know why it says no there. Her skins, of course, are the Mistral Arc, the Atlas Arc, Ice Queen, or Ice Queendom, whatever you want to call it, the Power Armor, Dark Universe, which is the DC movie, second one, and then, of course, Winter Schnee, because if Cake the Cat can get hers, and Finn could have possibly gotten Fiona, then Winter Schnee, of course, can just work for Weiss. It makes sense. Anyways, again, we have the Hound next. Of course, I want credit for this one. He's an assassin, and the Hound is very different, because the Hound in Ruby does not transform at all, but in this game, the Hound is basically just like base Grimm. If you don't know what a Grimm is, they're like monsters. There's different forms. As you can see there's a Wyvern, which is a dragon, whatever the heck you want to call it. Yeah, this is also would have been a prestige only ring out, like the Joker's was, and season 1. So yeah, you can see the heights. Of course, you have the different forms. You have the Geist, the Beowulf, the Apathy, and of course the Wyvern and the Hound themselves. So the Hound, you can pause here to read this all. The Hound would have turned into different forms of Grimm with each special attack. It would have been able to fly around, and eventually it would have built up damage, a meter to turn into the Wyvern. So the Wyvern's moveset is right here. You can read this. And of course, the perks are the Geist inhabits 2 items. Again, pause the video if you're gonna understand these perks. This is for the special attacks, and the second lets the apathy stun for 2 seconds, now deal damage. And then the skin would have been based on the Leafs. I'll zoom in on there. The Leafs from Volume 9, called Tea Time, of course, and it'd be an epic. And yeah, there's all of them, named the Apathy, Geist, Beowulf, and Wyvern. So next we, of course, have The Mask, one of the most iconic Warner Brothers movies. Warner Brothers is in a really bad patch right now, which sucks. Especially with what they've been doing on Max, it's really bad. They're probably going to get rid of The Mask one day. They're going to fade this out of existence. Anyways, The Mask has a bunch of cartoony violence moves. Of course, The Mask is going to have cartoon violence. He can use balloons, hammers, all this. It's beautiful. I think he's just a very cool character. There's ability where you can make a balloon and it floats in the air, but this balloon does high knockback when it knocks into somebody. I think it would be a very fun character. So his first perk lets his bomb deal fire damage. Again, I don't know what this is. I don't remember. It's been about nearly almost a year since I've looked at this, which is crazy. So his first perk, or his second perk, lets his high knockback balloon, which I talked about, do normal knockback, but has a bunch of more damage. Of course, his skins are Day 1, Balloon Artist, and Salsa Dancer. Then we have Marceline, and I put the red text saying she got in. So, of course, you already know how Marceline works. And I got it nearly right. I don't remember if she's an assassin. And I sadly don't have Marceline because, of course, the day they dropped Marceline and the day they dropped Raven is the same day they got rid of the fighter currency and made you have to do a mastery road for this, which I'm going to talk about later, why the mastery road is just straight garbage and why another game did it way better. Anyways, you can see what my concept for Marceline would have been here. If you want to read this, I'm not going to go full in depth on Marceline's moves since she is already in the game. I'm just going to go over her skins right here. We could have had Stakes, Marceline from the Stakes arc, Varsity Jacket. We could have had the Fiona and Cake, the Star variant, so purple and red. My personal favorite one is the red variant at the end. We could have had Marshmalline, which could have been a nice legendary. Marshall-Lee, which would have been a nice legendary. And obviously Sun Hat, which is in the game, surprisingly. And also, I think Varsity Jacket and Stakes are. I don't really remember much about her getting into the game. I just straight got off of that game after that. We got Roadrunner, one of my favorite Looney Tunes. Wile E. Coyote being my favorite one. Roadrunner is an assassin. He's fast. You could pause here. That thing right there, if you've ever seen one, those peeking, whatever they're called, those things, you dip them in water and then they just keep going upward. They're weird. I've seen them before. I don't have one myself. I just think they're weird, but Roadrunner has like a move like that where he just pecks you to the ground. I'm not going to go over perks much anymore because I don't remember them, so it'd make me look stupid. Anyways, we have the Toon Squad 96 Roadrunner, and then Toon Squad. Then we also have Rotus Runnerus, Yo-Yo Dodo, which Yo-Yo Dodo is his own separate Looney Tune, but I felt like making Yo-Yo Dodo his own character would have just been absolute nonsense. Solitude Roadrunner, and of course, my favorite skin for Roadrunner here, Reverent Roadrunner. This one just looks really sick. We got Maxwell from Scribblenauts. Maxwell, I think, is pretty cool. Really cool character. So Maxwell has the ability where he can swap out from different items for his specials. So while looking in the notebook, you get different specials. You get 3 specials, and this fully changes your specials. So it'll change every single one of your attacks for your special attacks. So we got the Dragon specials. We have Dragon specials. Then there's Axe specials and Guitar specials. So, those are the different items. And of course, all these skins here, we have Edwin, Flurry, Clark, Larp, Poindexter, Clone, Glum, Stunt, Buzz, Shadow, Artie, and Lily, my personal favorites. I just thought that these guys would fit mostly with Maxwell. Of course, they would all need no new voice actors since Maxwell doesn't really talk. Of course, we need another Titan-like character other than Godzilla, and so we have King Kong here. King Kong, you can use the axe, can use himself, the glove that they got in the newest movie, and of course, he can use Scar King's whip. And there's Titan. I didn't even notice I fully just copied his image, so weird. Anyways, let's move on. Of course, he has the axe, he has the Scar King whip. Very cool character. He's strong. He's more fast, though, as you can see. I made him a tank because, he is large, nearly the same height as the Iron Giant. but I thought that making him more of a bruiser would have been nice. But either way, he's got to be a tank. You know, all this stuff makes sense. So his skins, of course, are King Kong, 1933, Empowered King Kong, George from Rampage, and Classic George. I just thought that George from Rampage would have fit really well with this since he does resemble King Kong, and of course it's inspired by him. His design, of course, in the movie for Rampage, and then of course Classic George, because that's who George is. Anyways, we got Slimer from Ghostbusters. I did not put the Ghostbusters at all on this list, which I'm actually very mad at myself for, and I should have. But hey, if we're not getting any of them, we're getting Slimer. Slimer can do a bunch of other stuff. He has no skins, though, sadly. Slimer uses hot dogs. He uses all this stuff. Food damage, just like Taz does, to turn you into the giant chicken. Of course, we got Blue Beetle, and this was definitely... I did this one when Blue Beetle was at the rise, when it had just released. I think this was when it just released. But anyways, Blue Beetle, he can make anything you want. He's a really cool character. Sadly, he has no skins. Blue Beetle, he makes bombs. Of course, he has sound cannons, all this. And I was actually looking, and there was like no other designs that I've seen that fully changed him. Most of the older DC shows, from like the early 2000s and early 2010s, did not really change his design much, which really does suck. Anyways, we got some more skins. I'm moving the thing more. We got the Joker. For a Joker skin, we got Joker the Insane from the Joker movies. First one is clearly better than the second one. Everybody knows that. We have Captain Banana Guard Marvin, which is spelled M4RV1N. Toxic Rick and Toxic Morty. Nutcracker Taz. Of course, Batman Beyond, which could be his own character, but hey, it makes sense more as a skin. Hyde Buzz, Fire Finn, and Rocker Jake. Move to more characters. We got Beast Boy, and one ability right here, which is not an ability but more or less a gameplay design thing. He can turn into he can glide. Okay, he can glide, but all of his animals will be his size. So if he turns into a small frog, his hitbox stays the same, so his animal will just stay the exact same. He can turn into different animals for his attacks. You can really just visualize what Beast Boy does. He can turn into crows, monkeys, bears, all this stuff. And of course, his most iconic transformation is probably a cat or a bear. And I've also decided not to give him the ghost out because I just Teen Titans Go I despise. Anyways, we got Old Days Beast Boy and Young Justice Beast Boy as the skins. Of course, Old Days Beast Boy resembles him more from the older comics and all that. And a Young Justice Beast Boy is, of course, from Young Justice, and he also is more, monkey-like. Anyways, moving on to Spinel from Steven Universe. So Spinel, it's Spinel. She's stretchy and all that. She's also an assassin, so she can use that thing right there. I don't remember what it was called, but she uses this drill. She can shoot out poison. She can do all this. Makes sense. She also uses her scythe, and she can twist herself around. Of course, the only skin that makes the most sense for her is Old Days Spinel, because not even in the future she gets a new design. Ice King here, of course. Everybody loves Ice King. Who doesn't love Ice King? I was making this, of course, during the time when Fiona and Cake was just releasing, I'm noticing. After it was releasing, because, the Marceline skins. Anyways, it's Ice King. Oh, yeah, and also Glunter walks with him. So, he can throw Gunther, he can summon him, he can use ice nunchucks, as you can see, shoot ice, deal ice damage, all the good stuff. And his skins are the Ice Queen, Master Evergreen, which changes his penguin to Gunther, the dinosaur thing, Drip Ice King, and of course, Simon Petrikov. I don't know how they would do a Simon Petrikov skin, though. It would be good. Also, Master Evergreen is a full prestige skin. I've just noticed that I did that. Gumball. Now, it's crazy to put Gumball after, what's his name, Rob? But Rob is a villain, so he's cooler. So he goes first. He gets, yeah. So he can fly on Bobber, he can throw Banana Joe, and of course, he goes Super Saiyan. This gives him a buff, all this amazing stuff. It's beautiful. He's cool. And the skins we got are Old Real Gumball and Amazing Leader Gumball. Algae Rhythm is from Space Jam: A New Legacy. Most people probably forget this movie. How could you? Our glorious King LeBonbon was in it. He was the main star. Like, come on. And he beat Algae Rhythm. I'm glazing right now. Let's continue. He has no skins. He flies around. Of course, I'm gonna go back real quick. You can see Pete right there. Anyways, he can summon Pete. He can, you know, go airborne with Pete. Most of his attacks are just, you know, Pete attacking for him, or, you know, using a ball just like LeBron, having that same ability. Anyways, we got the Midway avatar from Midway Arcade. If you don't know what Midway Arcade is, Midway Arcade was a company that would make arcade games, you know, like Rampage. And of course, right here, the Midway Arcade avatar is just the Lego from Lego Dimensions. This is not what he would look like, but this is something he could look like. You know, this is just like what he would look like, or maybe look like. Of course, you can see, you know, the height is of course not Lego height. He would not be the same height as Lego. I'm just want to say this right now. Anyways, he can apply different buffs to him. He can summon the characters from Rampage. I'm gonna go over the special buffs. He has different side specials he can do. So he has the invisibility side special, super strength side special, super strength side special, great health side special, super speed side special. He has the laser vision side special, and you know, those are all his side specials. He can also summon the different guys from Rampage, you know, George, Lizzie, and Ralph. He has no skins. Of course, you want Fred Flintstone on your roster. It's Fred Flintstone. And of course, you gotta have Fruity Pebbles. Because of course, Fruity Pebbles is better than Cocoa Pebbles. Everybody knows this, and if you say Cocoa Pebbles is better, then you're wrong. Anyways, you know, he can use the car, the dinosaur. He can use the Fruity Pebbles. Even though I did put Cocoa / Fruity Pebbles. Fruity Pebbles are better. Anyways, we move on to Blake Belladonna from Ruby. She's an assassin. She can shoot with her gun, blade, sword thing, whatever you want to call it. It's called Gamble Shroud. That's the only, like, name I'll remember. Anyways, Blake has the ability where she can, when dodging, she leaves a clone, and the clone will explode in 3 seconds. This can only be done if the dodge meter is full. So if your dodge meter is fully full, then you can use it. And of course, I have this 3D model here you can see. I found it on DeviantArt, but not even. I found it on Google, and then I got it from DeviantArt. It's by Calamari. I think that's how you say it. Anyways, you know, it's Blake, best character, one of the best characters in the show. And of course, you know, you have the Mr. Arc, Atlas Arc, Power Armor, and Dark Universe. Then we have Yang Xiaolong, who's also from Ruby. She's a bruiser. Bumblebee's her ring out. And her ability is every time she takes damage, or a total of 30 damage, she gets a new neutral special. This new neutral special lasts 10 seconds, and she can only use it once. So this new neutral special, her 30 damage neutral special is shooting a sticky bomb, dealing fire damage. This move does not stop though, but instead the bullet is now fire damage. You know, it's just fire damage, same thing. It just does fire damage. And of course, there's the new design change. And her skins, she has more than Blake. I don't know why I didn't give the other ones the flame disguise, or whatever you want to call it, their thing from, I think it was volume 2 or volume 1. Anyways, we got Mr. Arc, Flame Disguise, Atlas Arc, Dark Universe, and Power Armor. And to end off with number 50, which we're not done yet, this is only ending off the first slideshow, we got Walter Hartfield White. Everybody loves Walter White. This is the one character that everybody memed about getting into multiverses from the start. Sadly, he can't get in because he's not Warner Brothers property, monks. Anyways, I did not put any skins for Walter, I think. Yeah, I didn't. I'm so sorry. Because there's a bunch of skins that would have worked. I still haven't finished Breaking Bad, though. Anyways, he has crystal damage, which is just a visual thing. It's the same thing as, like, ice. Crystal, he can use the van, and he can attack with, you know, vials. All this beautiful stuff. And, of course, other skins we got are the Past Banana Guard, Space Emperor Marvin, Doofus Rick, Pickle Rick, that's the official Multiverses image, and he was still never added. Which, I don't know why people were theorizing Pickle Rick would have been his own character. It would have made fully no sense. Ingested Morty, Dark Matter Taz, Ice Wizard Finn, Crystal Finn, Lich Jake, Margaret, Fireman Bugs, and of course Future Steven. But we got more skins, and we got to go to the next slide. So let's just go over these ones. Banana Guard 500, Bugs the Brave, Anime Rick, Anime Morty, which were clearly one of the worst shows ever. For Finn, we also have a bunch of skins. Fiona, Fiona Campbell, Wasteland Fiona, Old Finn, and Trainmaster Finn. For Jake, we have Forgotten Jake. For Marvin, we have Starpharaoh Marvin. And for Taz, we have Robo Taz. That's the end of this one. Where's my cursor? There it is. And we're going to move to the next one. You can probably already see the next character here. So, we got 50 more characters to go over. And then we're going to talk about something real quick that I just got really mad at Multiverses for. So, real quick, we're going to take a break. Pause here if you got to go take a break. It's been 20 minutes. Do whatever you need. And we'll continue. Alright? You probably paused already. If you didn't, oh well. Let's continue. And we're going to start off with Betty, or Betty Groff, from Adventure Time. This is a highly unlikely character, but I really just wanted another character in. So she could work. Oh yeah, Tiny Manticore. Tiny Manticore. She could throw Tiny Manticore. She has other abilities like magic, summoning birds, all this stuff. She can teleport. She has magical abilities, and she also uses the Enchiridion. Her skins are Original Betty, Hooded Betty. You also get this variant when buying Origin Betty, Insane Betty, Gold Betty, which was featured in Fiona Cake a bit. She was revealed to also be Betty, so people just started calling her Gold Betty, if you remember. And of course, Magic Man. Anyways, we got two characters from shows that you might not really recognize. That's 505, by the way, the bear. His name is Dr. Flug, and he's from a really good Spanish show called Villainous. So he also has the thing, just like Luffy, where you can choose what language setting that you want on him, and it might also change dialogue, so you have the Spanish and the English voice actors. He can summon 505, use different guns. He also has these giant fists that he uses in episode, I think it's episode 9 or episode 6 or whatever it's called. It's the one with Miss Heat, if you know the show. But he has all this stuff that he can use. I think it'd be a fun character. His only skin that I've ever found, which really works, is La Cabeza de la Bolsa, the bag head, I think it is. I got it from Google Translate. I didn't really ask because that would have, yeah. And then we also got Dementia. Now, if the name is weird, the character's weird. So yeah, Dementia, she's Dementia. She also has the English and Spanish voice actors. I prefer the Spanish. So she has one ability, which is just weird. She can crawl like Marvin and Velma. And of course right here you can see the crawling animation. It would just be her inside of her hair. So you can pause here. Again, I say this, pause here. She can go down, she can shake items out of her head. Weird character. Her only skin is El Alebrije, and I will read you just the weird definition of Alebrije that I found on Google. Alebrijes, Spanish pronunciation, Alebrijes, are brightly colored Mexican folk art sculptures of fantastical, fantasy, or mythical creatures. And my source is Google, of course. I want Booster Gold. He's one of my favorite DC characters. I want Booster Gold. Booster Gold has skeets. These are skeets. They're the coolest things ever. Booster Gold is the coolest character ever. He's awesome. He has giant skeets that he can use. He has a bunch of robots. He has amazing stuff. He has lasers, these skeets. He can shoot stuff. He can fly. He's just cool like that. And of course, True Justice, Booster Gold. Next up, we got Sauron. And I'm gonna be real with you. I've never watched Lord of the Rings. I've watched nearly almost the first one. Sauron is the character I want. I found out, though, that Sauron is this eye, but he's put into, like, this knife, I think. I don't know. So I went fully based off on the broad descriptions that I know for Sauron. There's a skeleton right there. So he can place the eye of Sauron, and it'll act like a laser. He has no skins, by the way. And he can also use necromancy to summon skeletons. And, of course, he uses his giant spear pike thing. He's also, like, nearly the same height as Shaggy, because I found out that he's not very tall. Anyways, we're going to Scooby-Dooby-Doo. I was about to say Scooby-Jew. Anyways, we got Scooby-Dooby-Doo, one of my favorite characters from Warner Brothers. Let's go over Scooby. So Scooby can use Scooby snacks to give him different abilities, and of course, gain a shield buff. And he can also use Scrappy-Doo. He can bite down on a giant bone. He's a cool character. Now, Dynamite is a stupid character, but I just thought that he would have possibly worked. I could only get this image of Super Scoob from, like, freaking Google, and it's only the toy. And of course, not Scooby-Doo, you know, from the movie. Then we got Joel from The Last of Us, and I specifically went with The Last of Us live action. I did not go with anything that represents from the game, so nothing. Nothing from the game will be used. Only actions done in the show that was made on Max in the live action format. So only, you know, attacks that were made in the live action. Anything from the live action is the only thing featured. Live action format. You know, you could throw, you could shoot, you can summon the what's it called? The clickers, all the zombies, the cordyceps zombies. Throw Molotov cocktails, and of course use the gun. I don't know if I said the gun yet. Anyways, we have 3 Boondocks characters here. We have Huey Freeman. You know, Huey, he uses guns, he uses swords, and all their skins here you're going to see are going to be the rebooted versions, which these were supposed to be in the reboot that sadly got canceled, and these are the concept arts. Of course, we have Riley from the Boondocks. He can swing his chain. He also has way more skins than Huey, since Huey doesn't really change much. You know, Riley can swing his chain. He has a shotgun. It's not a real shot. Well, yes, it is a real shotgun. Episode 1, I think it was. You know, he has a sword. No, it's Huey who has a sword. Sorry, he has a frying pan. He also uses the same basketball ability like LeBron. And, of course, his skins are Ballin', The Fundraiser, and Rebooted. And then we have Robert Freeman, or Granddad, as most people call him. And this was the only image I've really found of Robert, and it sucks because his voice actor did die. I'm so sorry that I don't remember his voice actor. I'm very sorry. He can use his belt as most of his attacks, and he also most of his attacks basically are his belt, since that's what he's most iconic for in the entire series. Anyways, move on to some more skins with Bushi for Banana Guard, Marvin Fudd, Lunar Bugs, Conqueror Taz, Prime Rick, Pizza Morty, Sunshine Finn, Randy Butternubs, which Randy Butternubs actually got in the game, which I'm actually very happy about. Armored Batman, which I think got in the game, and I think Cyborg Superman also got in the game. Anyways, we move on. And of course, Agumon. I love Digimon. It's one of my favorite series. I loved watching the original show. It's on Hulu, I think you can watch. 01, you can watch 02. Peacock has the Tri-Series, so that continues from the original. And then you got Crunchyroll has a bunch of them. They have Crosshearts. My favorite Digimon show is Ghost Game, just because I really enjoy the characters in that one. Anyways, Agumon. He's also one of our first hybrids. So I did not put Ben 10 here. But he's 4 characters. You got Agumon, War Greymon, Greymon, and Metal Greymon. So first off, you start... Oh, I'm so sorry. You start with Agumon. You know, the bruiser of the group. And over time, their abilities... Over time, he has a meter going up... Going up for an evolution. His next evolution is Greymon, changing his role and attacks in size. The meter stacks, letting him change instantly into the next one, like Metal Greymon if you choose to. So basically, you can stack this and you can just straight play as Agumon and evolve all the way to War Greymon, doing a Warp Digivolve. So then we have Greymon, who's the tank. Sadly, this is the only cool image I can find of Greymon. Anyways, you know, Greymon is the tanky character of the bunch. And then we have Metal Greymon, who's also a tank, but he has more abilities, so he can fly a bit, he can shoot rockets, and he can do like a hook shot. And then we have War Greymon, the assassin. There was no really mage ability or character. So we got War Greymon as the assassin. Pretty cool character. His skins, we have Virus Agumon. So of course, you know, we get the black versions. Then we have reference image for Skull Greymon. Another reference image for Professor and Fake Professor. And again, the next 3 characters are going to be Ruby. I love Ruby. So we have Jean Arc from Ruby. What did I put him as? Oh yeah, I put him as a tank because he can heal himself. He can open his shield to glide down, so he has the glide ability. He can make a wall with one of his redeploy shields. He uses a sword and shield, of course. And he can buff his own sword, making it larger with that same shield. His skins are Mistral Arc, Atlas Arc, and the Rusted Knight. And then we have Cinderfall. So, you know, it's Cinderfall. Cinder can use different abilities, making, you know, what's it called? Sand, I think it was? Sand into glass, of course. You know, her neutral special is using Flame Whip, but her hand changes, and it's specifically with her left hand. She does the whip because of skins, and there's a reason I'll show you now. Because Disguised Cinder, right? She doesn't have this change, as well as Young Cinder, but Mr. Arc Cinder, Damaged Cinder, and Atlas Arc all have the change of the whip. Her whip becomes the Dark Arm that you'll see right in this image, the Grim Arm. If you haven't watched the show, watch it if you can. We don't know where to watch it. Anyways, we move to Penny Palandina. The ring out is awesome. Come on. So, you know, these swords are here. She can summon them. She can throw her blades around. She has giant beams. It's really all I'm going to say about her. Giant beams, cool swords. Her skins are Atlas Arc Penny and Human Penny. But Human Penny is just a variant for Atlas Arc. Next we got Lemon Grab, our last Adventure Time character, okay? I promise. Lemon Grab uses the Lemon Camel. It's a horse, camel, whatever you want to call it. And of course, he has the Sound Sword. He can shoot out lemon juice. He can aim this, stun opponents with this, and all that. His skins are White Lemon Grab, Thin Lemon Grab, and White Thin, which White Thin is a variant for him. Lemon Pink, Night Lemon Grab, White Lemon Carb, and Lemon Carb, which these are variants for each other. I lied. Princess Bubblegum is next. I forgot about this character. I don't remember most characters on this list. You know, you got Crunchy's the Icon and Gumball Guardian. So, Princess Bubblegum, as you can see here, she can shoot that soda compound thing that she can make. Or it's not soda, it's actually root beer, sorry. She can make root beer, she can freeze enemies with this. It's free, it's ice damage, but it's just a new effect. So when they get frozen, the ice damage, it's just root beer. But it's just a new visual change, nothing special. Over time, though, I forgot to read the ability, I'm so sorry. Their ability is the Gum Bar. Over time, while dealing damage to opponents, her Gum Bar goes up. This enables the ability to turn into the Gumball Guardian. And so here's the Gumball Guardians set, if you want to take a look at that. And here are some skins with the Gumball Guardians. So we have Battle Ready PB, Farmer PB, Princess Gumball, Inventor PB, along with the Guardian. You know, this Guardian could represent Inventor, and then this design with Mutated PB, which was the Lich form, could represent the final episode, Mutated Gumball Guardian. And then we got Big Chungus, who is actually considered a Warner Brothers character, if you didn't know. Big Chungus is actually owned by Warner now, so yeah. Big Chungus, he can use fake copies of his game. He can, of course, use the hole, all that stuff. He can use a shotgun. It's crazy. So his skins we have are Zombie Chungus, Santa Chungus, and Omega Chungus. Very cool characters. Where's a guy, Daffy Duck, who has some of the most skins in this game. Daffy Duck has a bunch of stuff. He can use a Tommy gun, he can use paint, he can use all this stuff. Paint is, you know, it works a little bit like the Inkling, I think. I really don't remember most of the stuff. He has a jetpack, I know. He has all this cool stuff. And then, of course, we have a bunch of his skins with Pirate Daffy, Commando Daffy, QB Daffy, quarterback, Pharaoh Daffy, Gladiator Daffy, the Toon Squad skin from Toon Squad 96, Coach Daffy, which is from the modern, Dr. Daffy, Magnus Mallard Daffy, Bellboy, Elf, and Prize Fighter. And next we move on to Mr. Mixipitalik. I think that's how you say his name, Mr. Mixipitalik. Mr. Mixipitalik. Yeah, Mr. Mixipitalik. He is mostly just a time warper, and he's usually associated with Superman. One of his special abilities is saying his name backwards, and what does it say? Saying his name backwards and stunning opponents. You know, he does all this stuff, and he can throw the Superman symbol. His skins are Maz Mixipitalik, which is just Maz Mixie, which is just My Adventure with Superman, Godlike Mixie, Nemesis Mixie, Batmite, which I think Batmite could have been his own character, but I don't know. And then Fifth Dimension Mixie. Then we got Benson from regular show. If we got Mordecai Rigby, you gotta have Benson. I, crazily enough, didn't put Muscle Man or Skips, which I'm actually very sad about. You know, you got Benson. Benson over time can get into the angry state, and I did not put skins for Benson. Oh my god. Benson over time can get into the angry state, which just buffs him mostly. It just really buffs him. And then we have Bird Person. Bird Person. This is really the only other more Rick and Morty character other than like Summer, but I don't like the idea of Summer being in this game. So we got Bird Person. Bird Person can fly, do all this other stuff. He can swoop down. He chokes the he can choke himself, coughing up hairballs and throwing them at the opponents. And of course you got Phoenix Person. Very cool character. Then we got Lapis from Steven Universe. Probably my favorite Steven Universe character out of everybody. I've always just thought Lapis was so chill. And so when I got to making this character, I was just insanely happy with making her character. She has of course, she has hydrokinesis. If you don't know what hydrokinesis is, you control water. She can fly just like Pit in Smash Bros. She just has amazing abilities. She can... I don't remember most of the stuff. She can grab opponents. She can trap their head in water, doing damage. She has water wings. All this cool stuff. I just think Lapis would have been an insanely fun character. And of course, we got Reborn Lapis, which is, future look. And then Bob. Everybody's favorite character, Bob. And then we have Connie and Lion, which I thought I wanted to add Lion as his own character, but then I thought Connie and Lion would have made more sense. So we got Connie and Lion. Connie rides on top of Lion. Lion, you fight with him. Lion does a bunch of attacks, but also you use Connie. Connie's the one with the sword in her hand, of course. And then we, of course, have Uncle Grandpa. From Uncle Grandpa. Yeah. He can use the realistic tiger. He can use Pizza Steve. Mr. Gus, however, is out of the question. So he also can, crouch. Oop. So he can crouch, but also, he can glide, but also crouching, just like Bugs Bunny. He'll take items out of his fanny pack, unlike Fox. And here is the full roster with 100 new characters. Oh yeah, this was also made before Agent Smith, by the way. So, real disclaimer real quick. I've always forgot to mention this. This was fully made before Agent Smith. Now, the final thing that you're going to see was made before Samurai Jack dropped. It was made after Agent Smith. So, every character that you have right now, like Marceline and all this, the most recent character, Lola Bunny, she's not in this. This was all before Samurai Jack. This was in the last update of Season 1 that I finished this. Anyways, we got Void Being, a fully original character by me. He's like the Void, kind of. He's mostly just a villain. Player vs. Games character, because we were supposed to get a bunch of Player vs. Games characters, and we didn't. We got Void Being. I have the skins right here. I also made these. I literally just made these on freaking Canva. We have Sun Being, Moon Being, and Saturn Being. He can shoot beams. He can shoot large beams, and he can throw stardust and it explodes. I just think Void Being would have been a nice addition to the game, just being a new original character, being so random. And of course we have Supergirl, one of my favorite DC characters. Really cool. She's part of the Red Lantern Corp, and I think incorporating this with her, being able to use the Red Lantern during her specials would have just been really nice. Her abilities, of course, are nearly identical to Superman, except I decided to make her an assassin, of course, because of these Red Lantern special moves. Her skins are Red Lantern Supergirl, Kara Zor-El, and of course Supergirl the Warrior from My Adventures with Superman, or Maz. Pinky and the Brain from Pinky and the Brain, or the Animaniacs. They're Pinky and the Brain. Come on. So, of course, they can use a giant magnet. They got guns, all this stuff. Pinky does most of the fighting. The Brain, of course, runs on top of him, all this stuff. The skin is Pinky equals Brain. This was from the reboot, the original, or not the original, sorry. This was from the reboot when they made Robot Brain. Yeah, reboot. We got Unikitty from Unikitty or the Lego Movie. Unikitty. Of course, Tara Strong voices actor, but I also did say Allison Brie. But no, Tara Strong. It's because it's Tara Strong. So she has a bunch of stuff. She can summon this small, as you can see, that's from Lego Movie 2. She also gets the angry powers that you can see here. And she can turn into Angry Kitty. Angry Kitty. Her skins, these were from the, I think, CMF series. Angry Kitty's attacks are right there, by the way. Space Unikitty, Business Kitty, Sick Unikitty, Angry Kitty, which would just be a slight design change. Unlike right here, you can see this is from the Lego Movie video game and from the movie. That's what she looks like. And also in Lego Dimensions. And of course, Party Kitty. And then, why not have another Lego Movie character? Or Lego Movie S character, because Unikitty's not really one. Metal Beard. It's Metal Beard. Metal Beard's pretty cool. And the only thing I could find is Musical Beard. which was from Lego Movie 2, and this is also, you know, the mock-up or whatever you want to call it, Lego. He can use his shark, he can shoot cannonballs, and he can also use a chain, all that stuff. And then we have Peacemaker from DC. Who doesn't want Peacemaker? It's Peacemaker. Except John Cena. John Cena's kind of fallen, so maybe you don't put John Cena as the voice actor or the face of Peacemaker at all. Since, you know, if you haven't been keeping up with the WWE, you're just not interested in that. John Cena basically turned on everybody, which is crazy. So we're just going to go through, quick through here. You also have Isekai Peacemaker, which is just an awesome show. Go check out the Suicide Squad Isekai if you still haven't watched it. You know, he can throw the hatchets. Are those tomahawks? Did I put them on as tomahawks, or did I put them as... Yeah, I put them down as tomahawks. They're not hatchets. I'm so sorry. Those are clearly tomahawks. I'm idiotic for that. You get the tomahawks, and of course he uses eagerly. We got more skins. We have Zombie Taz, Little Red Riding Hood Bugs, Ragnarok Rick, The One True Morty, Michael Jordan for LeBron, Michael Jordan for LeBron, and of course Newborn Garnet. And we move to our final 20 with Naruto Uzumaki from Naruto. I mean, come on. It's Naruto. How do you not want him? Amazing character. He can, of course, use the Rasengan. He can use kunai. He can use different jutsus. Overall, amazing character. How do you not want Naruto in the game? And, of course, for skins, we got Shippuden Naruto, Sage Naruto, Six-Path Naruto, Hokage, and I guess Boruto, kind of. I don't know, but Boruto is just a guy. If you don't know, Boruto's his son, by the way. Just clarifying that. Anyways, we move on to Hal Jordan's Green Lantern. I said Green Lantern Hal Jordan specifically because this is, again, if you don't know, there are multiple Green Lanterns. This is the most recognizable one, Hal Jordan Green Lantern. You know, Green Lantern can make anything he wants. He can summon stuff, and he can also use the Green Lantern. This also gives gray health to him. And then we have Alan Scott, Jon Stewart, Jessica Cruz, and Dark Universe Jessica Cruz. Why did I say... Yeah, whatever. We also get Alfred. Who doesn't want Alfred? It's Alfred. He uses mops, feather dusters, weed killer. I mean, come on. And then we got Pennywise. It's Pennywise. He can turn into the spider form. His skin is classic Pennywise. He has a bunch of other stuff. He can use the balloon. Really fun character. We also got Johnny Cage. How do you not want Johnny Cage? And of course, his skin's right here. We have Ninja Mime Johnny, Wrestler Johnny, and Janet Cage. Johnny can get a buff from himself. He also gives himself gray health. And of course, you can see in the corner that neutral special. That's his neutral special, giving him that green look. Steve Urkel from Family Matters. One of the best sitcoms ever made. How do you not want Steve Urkel? And of course, his skins are Stefan Urkel and Urkelbot. His neutral specials give him a force field. He can... what does he got? He got the jetpack. He has the force field belt. And of course, he can locate any point on the map he wants to teleport to. We got Yogi Bear, who teams up. I guess he doesn't, sorry. Anyways, we got Yogi Bear. He can use a pick-a-nick basket. He can drop food. Really fun character. And he can also summon Boo Boo to, you know, do stuff. I did not put Boo Boo's image right here, sadly, but he's right there. Bruce from Jaws. Now, the one thing about Bruce from Jaws is not so much an ability, but design and gameplay choice. One on the ground, it's just a head, but in air, it's the whole shark body. And we'll go back here, and you can see the whole body right there. He's nearly the same size as the Iron Giant. Bruce in the ground, though, is like nearly the same height as like Shaggy, or just near his waist. So Bruce, when jumping, becomes really big. Bruce can, you know, hit people with his tail, and he can bite them. He's a shark. He's quite literally just a shark. This right here, you see that? That's just what the shark looked like. So none of that's there. Anyways, we got Harry Potter. Again, I don't know much about Harry Potter. This is mostly just going to be broad descriptions, like magic blasts. And quite literally, he just straight up does magic blasts. He can stun opponents, though, and make stuff float. His skin is Ron Weasley, you know, because it's Ron Weasley. And then we get the pea shooter. If you didn't know, Warner Brothers actually did a bunch of... What's it called? Warner Brothers did a bunch of their merch. So pea shooter, and I went with the Battle for Neighborville design, because this one is just more friendlier than the Garden Warfare design. Garden Warfare looks really cool, but I thought just this design looked nice and cuddly, or whatever you want to call it, for Multiverses, so this one just makes more sense. But there's a bunch of stuff relating to, what's it called? Yeah, Garden Warfare. Anyways, Most of the specials is shooting rapid shots, so you know you got the Gatling P and all that. But there's also the different typings you can use which are down special. So you have the regular shot, fire, ice, electric, and the primal. So if you don't know, and you know you can turn it to the 3-peater. So of course there are the design changes, and the skins I decided to go with were Agent P, Law P, Commando P, Future Crop, and P Valiance. And then some of our last skins here, we have Genie Bugs, Taskini, Salesman Rick, and Rick Morty. Moving to our last characters, we get a new Gremlins character with the Spider Gremlin. I had to go with this image from an action figure. This is from Gremlins 2, if you didn't know. The Spider Gremlin can make eggs, and this eggs, you know, shoots goo out of his abdomen. It can make eggs, summoning small gremlins. No skin. And then we have Simon from Infinity Train. I decided that Simon was the, you know, best character. I haven't watched Infinity Train in a while, though. So Simon was really the only character I could truly go with for Infinity Train. Sorry. See, you know, Simon uses his things. I haven't watched Infinity Train in a while. But he can shoot a beam from his green arm. So, you know, you gotta just change him up a bit. And, of course, we have Infinite King Simon. And then we got Ice Bear. He can use his Roomba, he can use his axe, stars, not stars, throwing stars, ninja stars, whatever you want to call them, all that. And his skins are Rabbit Ice Bear, Robo Bear, Apron Ice Bear, and Ice Bee. Move to Mau Mau. From Mau Mau, here's a Pure Heart, a Warner Brothers show that was lost, sadly. And, you know, he's a standard character. He was really like a more standard-esque version of Samurai Jack when I was coming up with this. Because I didn't know how Samurai Jack was going to play, even though I knew he was coming out. Basically, he's like a weaker version of Samurai Jack. We have KO from OKKO. And of course, he can shoot beams and all that, you know, really cool. And his neutral special is charging into becoming TKO. This gives him more speed, and he becomes more of a tanky character. And of course, TKO transformation is right there. Then we have Bane from DC, which I love Bane. Bane is cool. Bane, you know, he can get stronger, he gets gray health, and of course we get Jacket Bane. I don't remember what movie this is from, sadly, sorry. Then we got Clayface from DC as well, number 98. You know, it's Clayface. He can make glops of glue, stick them to opponents. He can make his body into different things, really cool. And of course we have his suited up Clayface, Lego Clayface, and Isekai Clayface, which I don't know how Isekai Clayface would work with his big build. Maybe they'd make Clayface skinnier. I don't know. And then we have our next hybrid, Ben Tennyson, number 99. Ben has a bunch of interactions depending on the characters. And of course, here are 8 characters. First off, we start with Ben, you know, the Bruiser. And let's go over his ability. His ability, he has no special attack. He has no specials. Basically, he has no specials. All his specials are charging into the aliens. So his Omnitrix, basically. So his right side special is turning into forearms. His left is turning into Diamond Head. His up is Stinkfly. And his down is Accelerate. So let's go over forearms. Basic Bruiser, a bit like Jason, but also a bit like, let's say, probably Batman, with just no ranged attacks. Diamond Head is, of course, our tank. He's made of diamonds, and he can shoot diamonds. Stinkfly is our mage character who can glide around, fly around, and shoot stinky stuff. And then Accelerate is our assassin, being very fast, being a little bit like Sonic and Smash Bros. And then our final character, the character I decided on. Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. We got Kevin 11. Those are all his, you know, forearms, Diamond, Accelerate, and also Stinkfly. What's Goku? It makes sense. It's Goku. Everybody loves Goku. Everybody and their mom, even your grandmother, knows Goku. It's Goku. His special thing for his specials is he can charge, and he has transformations, he gets 30-second buffs. And of course, we have his skins Great Ape or the Arozu, Gogeta, I did not put Vegito though, and Goku Black. And the transformations are Transformation 1, going Super Saiyan Blue, and Ultra Instinct. And yeah, and we're not going to really show the VAs for the other stuff. That was just mostly stuff. But I want to talk about, real quick, Multiverses Mastery Road. And that was so annoying. When Marceline dropped, and I'm just going to show you a preview for something. So, this is coming soon. You can see this. This will be soon. I'm going to just show you the preview for this one, and I'm going to keep this up on screen while I talk about this. When Multiverses was dropping, they were releasing characters and you could buy them with fighter tokens, which I thought was really good, really fun, and it was allowing me to get characters very easily. And these bundles that they would release for $5, giving me 2 characters, I would get Gleamium as well, and I would even be able to buy the Battle Pass. I thought that was peak. But Multiverses has clearly gotten worse, being just money-grubbing and evil. They decided that the best way was to do a Mastery Road. And a game that I've seen that does a better Mastery Road than them, which, crazy enough, I'm not going to be playing over 100 hours just for one character, and then I also have to wait? No. I've seen a better game that does a Mastery Road way better, and that's Brawl Stars. Now, I know somebody who had literally just started playing Brawl Stars again after years and had no characters, had to make a whole new account, and he already has like 12 characters after about 2 months of playing. Multiverses, you're not getting like 12 characters after 2 months. It takes way too long. Brawl Stars actually gives their players the resources they need to level up, unlike Multiverses did. I highly recommend playing Brawl Stars because it's easy to get characters. Anyways, as you can see here, this is for a Marvel Rivals list. That's coming soon. I will flip through it very fast, so you can get a little preview at it. Yeah, you can get a little preview. So that's coming soon. Anyways, it's just so sad to see Multiverses fail. It really is. And I love Multiverses. Why is this not closing? I love Multiverses, and it's so sad to see this fail. Multiverses, I'll miss you. I know you're going offline. And I still don't have it downloaded. Because I don't have it re-downloaded. But anyways, Multiverses is ending. This was the final Multiverses video. Hopefully you had fun enjoying this and thought that the character concepts were good. And I'll see y'all in a future video. Bye-bye.